Art. Welcome to another live stream. You're in Porter Coaching Studio, aka my living room. I'm so glad you're here. And it looks like my stream is not working. Something stopped on one of the platforms. Sorry, bear with me. Okay. I'm going to hit go live again on that platform. There we go. Technology. It's fun and challenging all at the same time. So, welcome to day 24 of going live, or I have to eat dog food. So, I have the dog food right here. I really don't want to have to eat it, but I will if I don't go live for the next however many days that is, 6 days. But I am counting them down for sure. So I've got my little board over here with all the sticky notes, tracking it, and also the ritual. I'm enjoying these little rituals that we have to track the progress and mark it down. Oh, that sound reminds me of junior high, reminds me of I don't know what. Of being a child and hearing that squeaking noise and going, ugh. I think I used to get goosebumps at it. The first time I remember hearing that noise, I think it was like markers that had each different scents, and some of them smelled like food. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but they exist. They're out there. Man, now my brain's going back to all these childhood memories. But we are not going there. Tonight, I wanted to just talk about what my relationship with failure is like now versus what it has been in the past. Because as someone with ADHD, I was diagnosed with it when I was 6 years old. I have failed a lot. The executive dysfunction of not always deciding what I want to be doing, instead hyper-focusing in on one thing, which is not the homework that I'm supposed to be doing, and instead daydreaming. I can remember one time daydreaming where I was sitting outside and I was supposed to be reading a book, and an airplane went overhead. And then for the next 10 minutes, I was imagining what it would be like to be a pilot, and how like the directions of the joystick, what would happen to the G-forces, and what would happen if I turned upside down, and then the earth is pulling me down, but the airplane's pulling me this way, and like, how would that feel? And so I was like, closed my eyes and just started moving a joystick around, pretend. And my mom walks out and it's like, "What are you doing? I thought you were supposed to be reading this book." And it's like, I don't know. I mean, a plane went overhead, and then I started doing this, and I didn't choose to just go off on that tangent. My brain just did that, and so you could think of that as a failure, but it's also just part of how my brain works. And so now as an adult, I get to change the story. Or there's this book, Change Your Questions, Change Your Life, that talks about like these switching questions that we can use to kind of ask ourselves, different questions like, how can this be a good thing? How can it be okay? How does that actually help me? These are some switching questions that you could just ask yourself when you find, like me, that I start talking down to myself, or I start really like getting frustrated, because it is frustrating to not do this thing that you wanted to do. But instead of trying to push down that emotion, I can fully experience it and be okay with my emotions and say, yeah, like that's frustrating. What else? And ask myself that, but then like, okay, but how can this be a good thing? So I give that frustration a little bit of space to like exist, and then say, okay, now let's move on. And how can it be good that I did this other thing? Well, now I have some ideas about flying an airplane. I'm now aware that they came out and they told me, hey, you need to be reading a book. All right, now how can I re-engage in what I need to be doing? And so I think this idea of like, how can we be kind to ourselves despite this distraction, despite these challenges of our brain's steering us in these other directions all the time. Um, those other directions don't always have to be a bad thing. Um, but it does take work to like re-engage with that. So I'm wondering about just some other things of like, what does it mean to change our relationship with failure? Thinking back to that time that I did the TED Talk. All right, let me clarify that. The time that I applied to be a speaker at TED, and I went through the interview process, and I gave a mock um, speech as a part of the trial process, and they were like, nope, we're not going to have you present. And they picked a few other people. And I had put, probably 2 months of practice in and work into applying for this and to like writing a speech and to putting it all out there. And now looking back, so this was maybe 2018, 2019 that happened. Looking back, I can see, oh yeah, like that speech, although I practiced a lot, like it was all over the place. It really didn't have this core idea. But now, like I feel like that process of doing it was like one stepping stone in my journey. And like I keep getting closer and closer to being good at public speaking, at being able to concisely explain ideas and concepts that I'm trying to go over. And also like the thing that I've been missing in my life has been coaching and having, getting feedback from somebody else on this. So I didn't get any feedback from that speech when I was practicing it before presenting it to everybody. I should have, now looking back, I should have gotten some insight from a few other people into the speech and how it needed to change and adapt. And so getting out of my own head and getting feedback from other people was something that was missing. So now I've learned that lesson and can apply that to future engagements that I do. So I guess what I'm saying is I can look back at that TED Talk that I applied for and didn't get as just a part of my apprenticeship towards becoming an effective communicator. And so so now I'm going to be on this topic of public speaking as this journey, because if I go backwards in time to when I was in Toastmasters and before I was in Toastmasters, I had a bit of a speech impediment. I did not speak things clearly. I would say and constantly between just one or two words. I would say and then and I still do that, but I've minimized it, and now I'm able to do a little bit better, but it's still something that I'm working on. So I did those. See, now I'm thinking, oh, I just said That's okay. Part of the process. But I was in Toastmasters, and I got better at those verbal utterances, at the extemporaneous speaking, learning that it helps me to have something in my hand. I got better at using hand gestures. Sometimes it's still a little awkward, but I'm better at it now. I mean, I'm not like, I don't need to make fun of public figures that I know of that do silly things sometimes. Okay, that's enough. See, now that I just said but I'm just extemporaneously talking to you right now, and so it is what it is. My relationship with failure has changed, and it's something that I'm still working on. But even though I had so many of those negative experiences growing up, of teachers constantly telling me, hey, get back on track, hey, do this thing, hey, you're not doing good enough, that I can change how my brain works. And shift it to be more positive, instead of being so hard on myself all the time, I can learn how to be kind to myself. I'm just thinking about what other things this relates to. I feel like it also relates to this theme that I've often felt like I'm a late bloomer, and that's okay. Like Colonel Sanders, I think it was some other person's name. Maybe it was actually Colonel Sanders, but he didn't start Kentucky Fried Chicken until he was like in his 70s. There are authors that didn't get their start until much later in their life. That success, or the way that the world and the way that other people define success, doesn't have to come at any period in our time. That we can figure out, maybe very late in life, how to reach our full potential and what our potential is. And that maybe for some people like me, where I just have so many interests, that it just takes years and years and years to finally hone down into what are the things that I want to really commit to doing, and to developing a craftsman mindset, something that I'm going to become world class at. And I know for me, one of the things is being able to effectively communicate, and go from somebody that stuttered, that had a very hard time just coming up with any of the words that were in my brain and the concepts that I had in my head, getting those out and into some verbal utterance was just so challenging for me. I just got so frustrated. And now, I mean, that frustration's still there sometimes, but now I'm more able to communicate. And there's reasons behind that, because I have this desire to help other people, like you, if you have ADHD. And so I don't think that path came quickly for me. I'm now 44, and I've done many different things, but now I feel like I'm able to hone down more and to have a clearer direction in where I'm going. And so all of those past experiences aren't failures. Those jobs, working at Starbucks and talking to people and engaging with them and doing small talk on a very, I'm stuck on this word tonight, extemporaneous, just a very off the cuff, the tip of your tongue, just saying what's coming to mind. I feel like I'm really good at that now, because I had 13 years of experience of working in coffee shops, have led to me being able to converse with people and connect with people very quickly on a one-on-one basis. And then sometimes when I'm speaking, being able to connect and talk to each individual person and talk to you, not just like that you're this audience, but that you're one person, that I'm talking to you and I'm pointing to the two cameras. Yeah. So, the sign language has helped me. Just so many things have clearly led me to here. So, yeah, I'm curious, like what your relationship with failure looks like. How do you overcome those obstacles? And as Ryan Holiday wrote the book, "The Obstacle is the Way." That when you encounter something you feel like a failure, that actually that's the very thing that you need to be moving forward on and trying harder on, is that obstacle that's right in front of you. So yeah, those are some of my thoughts. I'm thankful for you joining me in this journey of going live for 30 days. Otherwise I have to eat dog food. Today is day 24. So only 6 more days, and I will still be coming to you live probably later on, but I'm going to take a break, maybe a month or two, I don't know. But then I'll also be launching the group coaching course, which I'll be doing videos every day. I'll likely pre-record and have them kind of more organized. But yeah, I'm excited to share all the things I've been putting together with you. And so if you're interested in that, definitely let me know. I have a wait list going. I can share that wait list with you. And I just love to stay connected to other people that have ADHD, that have struggled with their focus and flow and want to find their full potential and unlock it. If that's you, I want to talk to you, because that sounds like somebody that I want to spend time with. I want to hang out with, that it wants to grow and to challenge themselves to live up to this full potential that they know they have inside them. Because that's me. I knew that I had something in me that I needed to share with the world. And as I've discovered that about myself, how to unlock my full potential, that I want to share stories about how I've done that and what that looks like. And I've got one, that I'll probably be sharing next week about this journey that I've been going through. So, yeah, thank you for coming along, and I'll see you tomorrow. If I don't see you tomorrow, then I'll be eating some dog food. So, cheers. Instagram, you're going to go goodbye first. Goodbye. Facebook, so